Hey, what's up, y'all? What's poppin'? It's D. About to react to this vid. This is regarding Brittney Griner's prison conditions and what she's experiencing being locked up in Russia. Apparently, it's not looking good. It's not sounding good at all. But let's see the conditions that she's facing. Let's watch.
Meanwhile, U.S. officials are dismissing Russian claims that progress is being made to release WNBA star Brittney Griner as just talk. Griner was, in fact, recently moved to a female penal colony notorious for horrific conditions, torture, sleep deprivation, and assault.
Damn.
Someone who knows those conditions firsthand is Nadia Tolokonova, a founding member of the Russian feminist protest art collective Pussy Riot. I want to warn viewers that the discussion ahead may include possible graphic language tied to the conditions inside those Russian penal colonies. First of all, thank you, Nadia, for being with us. You served inside a penal colony for nearly 2 years. Brittney Griner just started serving a 9-year sentence. Based on your personal knowledge, what worries you most for her?
I'm terrified that Brittney Griner was moved to IK2. It's one of the harshest colonies. It is literally the harshest colony in the whole Russian prison system.
Oh,
I was protesting terrible conditions in my penal colony, but I know every single chief official who works at IK2, and I know exactly what human rights abuses do they perform on a daily basis and kind of tortures that they use against prisoners. Prisoners in that IK2 works in slave-like conditions. They're forced to work up to 17 hours a day with no days off and with no vacation, needless to say. And if you do not perform the quota, then you're going to be punished. That includes torture, and that includes daily torture. And a lot of prisoners just cannot stand it, and some of them decide to commit suicide, which is not as easy in penal colony conditions. Medical help is practically non-existent, and if, let's say, you're being tortured and go to a prison doctor to document the fact that you've been tortured, obviously they do not see anything, and they do not see any witnesses of your torture. So what I would be really scared of is Brittney hiding the fact that she is being heavily oppressed in this penal colony, because that's what happened with me. And I was told that if I'm going to say one single person about abuses that I'm going through, the whole penal colony is going to suffer because of me. And I didn't open my mouth for a year, and I was working in these terrible slave-like conditions, getting injured for a year before I started, and then I started my hunger strike that actually brought a few high position chief officers from Mordovia to trials, and some of them are convicted right now because of my fight.
To say that what you witnessed, what you went through is horrific and traumatic is to understate it. How did you find strength when all of that darkness was surrounding you? And if you could, what would you tell Brittney Griner? I don't even know how you begin to think about survival. Is it minute to minute, day to day?
Pretty much minute to minute, because you never know when you're gonna get attacked. And I also was subject to physical attacks. I was just thrown to places, just like a sack of potatoes, without them asking me if I want to go places. They grabbed me by my hair. So what gives me hope is that normally prisoners who have some media attention, they're not getting tortured. So I wasn't physically tortured. They used physical force against me, but just to move me places. But they didn't beat me, they didn't rape me, and unfortunately rapes are happening in IK2 as well. And I've heard of an instance of few prisoners trying to run away from this colony because they just couldn't couldn't handle it anymore, being raped on a daily basis, but they were found and brought back to even more torture. So what gave me strength is understanding that it's going to finish at some point. And always realizing that you have a level of protection because you have lawyers, you have media attention, something that other prisoners do not have. And what I would suggest, Brittney, if I could, to do not work at the sweatshops, because you might think for a second that if I'm going to follow the rules, then my life is going to be better. But in fact, those conditions are horrific. And the machines are so old. So at some point, the needle would penetrate my finger and I would be covered in blood, but I still have to sew. And I was sewing police uniforms and uniforms for Russian military who today are fighting in Ukraine. So if you can, you should avoid this sweatshops. They'll put you in solitary confinement instead. But what I didn't know, that actually being in the solitary confinement better than being just working on a daily basis in this aggressive slave-like labor conditions.
Nadia Tolokonnikova, I have to say that what you went through and the way you used your public profile to move things forward is an extraordinary lesson in bravery, and I want to thank you for bravely continuing to speak out about what is happening there. Thank you so much.
Wow, this is really fucked up. Free Brittney Griner. I feel really bad for her. But, she did say that because she has, a level of media attention, that she might not face these conditions as harshly as, the other prisoners. So I'm hoping that that's the case, that they won't really fuck with her too much because of that, because everyone is aware that she's over there and we're all, upset about it. And it's, this big, story. So I'm hoping that they won't torture her or anything like that. But it's crazy because she said that, I would suggest that she refrains from working the 17-hour days and just let them put her in solitary confinement. That is known to drive people crazy. That's like psychological torture when people are in solitary confinement. There have been so many studies done on that. So is that better? I don't know. I don't know about that advice, girl. But yeah, working 17 hours a day in slave-like conditions and working with old equipment that could injure you is crazy as well. This is a really fucked up situation. I do really feel bad for her. But, I do see people talking about this case and they're really upset at, our president. What is he supposed to do? And they're upset at, America, oh, y'all ain't doing nothing. It's there's only so much that can be done. Bro, I don't think y'all understand how this works. It's not like we could just snap our fingers and then she's free. She broke laws over there. So it's we don't really have much say-so on what they do with her because she broke the law over there. And, people were saying oh, well, she had a prescription for her weed pen or whatever the case. But that's an American prescription. That means nothing over there. So it's we do need to be smart and do research to some degree before we get to these other countries and just be, doing reckless shit. I do feel for her. I feel bad for her. I'm not saying she deserves this at all. 9 years is fucking crazy. That is so excessive and inhumane. Why would you sentence her 9 years for a weed pen? That is wild. You would think that she was trying to distribute some crack to their kids or something. What are y'all doing? That's really over the top. But it's at the same time, you cannot break laws in other countries because they be doing some extreme wild shit. You got to be very, very careful on how you moving. So, I really wish that she would have been smarter about this. But, I'm hoping that she doesn't serve all 9 years there. That would be fucking wild if she does. If she does actually have to serve the entire 9 years in their prison system, yikes, that'll be fucked up. But yeah, my thoughts and prayers and all that go out to her. This is shady. Y'all let me know what y'all think though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.